Businesses spend a huge amount of time, money, and resources to solve what is the biggest bottleneck across the board. For the most part, that bottleneck is getting enough traffic and leads into the business so that they can make enough sales. But then a lot of businesses go on to waste thousands of pounds every single month because they don't have the systems in place to manage these amounts of clients. For example, one of the spaces where a huge amount of money is often lost is regarding tracking payments. So inside Zapier, I built an automation that will automatically handle all cancelled subscriptions so that you're not continuing to deliver a service when a subscription cancels, but then you also know that you have a system in place to follow up with that previous client to then re-sign them down the line. Inside Zapier, we start off with the trigger of when a cancelled subscription happens in Stripe. We then have a step to format that to get the current date. We then post this inside a Slack channel that certain team members have access to, notifying that a subscription is cancelled, the contact who it was cancelled with, their contact details, the date it was cancelled, the reason, the amount, and the interval. We then get perspective as to the subscriptions that are being cancelled and the reasons why. For example, it might just be that their card bounced 3 times and then their subscription auto-cancelled. What we then do is we have a step called a formatter, which adds 1 day onto the date that it was cancelled. This then allows us to create a task inside our task management system called Monday.com, which we then can collaborate on that task and then have the appropriate process to offboard that client. What we then also have inside Zapier is we have a path step. This path step is then set up to filter based off certain products. Inside your Stripe account, you have individual products, and each product has what's called a product ID, and then this filter filters based off that product ID. So regardless of if their subscription cancels, it will cancel on a certain product or service, and that will have an individual product ID. That then allows us to filter the automation based off what product their subscription's cancelled on. That then means that we can create an item onside Monday.com, for example, if you're using that as your task management software, and then create an update on that item. So for example, client name, cancel subscription, and then the update will have the full SOP and steps to follow to offboard that client. This then is automatically assigned to a certain team member who will be handling that. And then what it means is if that team member is off, there's a whole SOP in the update. So it's really simple for someone else to jump in and handle that task as well. What we then do though is we have a step for lead connector, which is our CRM system, SystemisedToScale. And this then plugs into our CRM. This then tags that contact in our CRM with the appropriate tag, so we can then create an automation inside our platform that triggers when this tag is added. This then allows us to build the appropriate follow-up sequence to then essentially re-sign that client down the line. But what it then also allows us to do is automatically update our email audiences, so we always have an audience of current clients, past clients, and then leads who we've not sold to yet. But then what we also do is we have a step to create a row in our spreadsheet, and this spreadsheet is always up to date with current clients, the products that they're on, the amount that they're paying us, so we can see all our finance analytics. But then we also have another sheet which is previous clients and the reasons why their subscriptions cancel. This then gives us perspective across the board about money coming in, churn rate, and ultimately allows us to keep on top of moving our business in the direction that we want. A lot of the time, businesses stagnate their growth because they get stuck in their business rather than being able to work on their business. It's systems like these that win you back a huge amount of time and allow you to scale stress-free.